Hi, in this video I'm going to show you 4 categories of Word's advanced options and how to utilize them for your benefit. It's also going to give you a better understanding of why Word does some of the strange things that it does, because depending on how you have some of your options selected, Word may work a little bit differently, especially when you're working with styles within your document. The categories we're going to go over are editing options, cut, copy, and paste, show document content, and display. Now the display options under advanced are different than the display options from Word Options Display itself. Those display options are how the document displays. In the advanced display options, it's how Word displays, which I explained in an earlier video that I'll link at the end. Also, please watch this video until the end for an added bonus. Let's go ahead and get started with the editing options. Now, to get into Word's advanced options, you need to go to Backstage. So click on File, scroll all the way down to Options in the left column. In the left column, we're going to go down to Advanced and click on it. And once you do that, over on the right, it's going to list all the advanced options. We're going to start at the top with the editing options. The first option to toggle on and off is typing replaces selected text. And what that means is if you check it, this option will replace selected text when you type. So if I go and highlight text and start typing, it'll overwrite it. If nothing's selected, it'll insert it to the left of the cursor. Second option, when selecting, automatically select the entire word. So I'm going to go out and show you what that means. This means that once I start selecting and I go into another word, it's automatically going to select that whole word. And you'll also notice that it takes the space after the word. And when you double click, it's going to take the space after the word as well. Our third option, allow text to be dragged and dropped. And what that means is when you select text, instead of copying and paste it, you can drag it to a new location. So I've got my text selected, and if I want to copy it, I'm going to hold down the Control key and drag it to where I want it to go, and it drags it there. If I want to move it, I do not hold down the Control key, and then you can see it moves it. So it gives us the option to either copy it to another location or move it just by dragging it. Our next option is to use the Control click to follow hyperlinks. Now, the advantage of this is that it's easier to edit it if you have this option checked. So if I scroll down a little bit further in my document, I've got a hyperlink. Because I have it set up with the Control click, it doesn't automatically take me directly out to my link when I click on it. So it makes it a little bit easier to edit your hyperlinks. The next option, automatically create drawing canvas when inserting auto shapes. So right now I have this turned off. And so if I want to insert an auto shape, go up to the Insert tab, click Shape, let's put an arrow. I'm going to draw my arrow. And it automatically puts it in there. Now let's go in and change that option. So again, File, Options, Advanced, under Editing Options. If we turn this on, say OK. Now when I come in here to insert an auto shape, let's put in a box, you can see it adds my drawing canvas. So now I can put my shape in here, but I've got it inside a drawing canvas. If you're doing a lot of work with drawings in a space, this sometimes becomes helpful, but for what I'm using it for, it does not. Our next option, use Smart Paragraph Selection. By checking this option, when you selected a paragraph, it's also going to include the paragraph marker at the end. Now this becomes beneficial if you want to keep the formatting with the paragraph. It includes the paragraph marker because remember, formatting is saved within the paragraph markers. Okay? The next option is use Smart Cursoring. Check this option to define that the cursor moves as you scroll up and down. When you press the left, right, up, and down arrows after you scroll, the cursor responds at that current page viewed and not at the previous location where the cursor was. So for instance, here's my cursor. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to hit the down arrow. Now you can see my cursor is down here where I am in the current page. That's what that does. If I come back up, go into File, Options, Advanced, turn this off, say OK. My cursor is up here. I'm scrolling down to the bottom of the document. When I hit the down arrow, it took me back up. So it's a nice feature to use as you're scrolling through or reading your document. You hit a point where you want to make changes using the arrows instead of having to click around. So that's how that feature works. I'm going to go back in and reset it. File, Options, Advanced. There we go. Our next option, use Insert key to control overtype mode. And then we have a sub option, use overtype mode. So what this means is that if we check the option, it toggles the overtype mode on and off when you're using the Insert key. And if we check the second option, the sub option, what that'll do is replace the existing text as we type, one character at a time. File, Options, Advanced, turn them on, say OK. You can see it's typing over it. File, Options, Advanced. Does not type over. Let me get rid of this. Oops. Hit my Insert key, and it types over it. So by leaving the first option checked and not checking the second option, it gives us more control over it. Using the Insert key, we can tell it to overtype and not overtype. Now I prefer to have it always insert, so I'm going to come back in, File, Options. You're going to have this memorized, Advanced, and turn both of them off. Next option, prompt to update style. If you check this box, it's going to prompt you when you directly modify text that a style is applied to, and then you reapply the style to the modified text. So let's come in, apply a style here, apply heading 1 style to here. Okay, I'm going to come in, File, Options, Advanced, prompt to update style. Italic, bold this. I'm going to come in, apply my style again, and so it's going to prompt me. What do I want to do? Do I want to update the style to reflect the recent changes? And that means this heading 1 style will now include bold and italic. Or do I want to reapply the formatting of the style to the selected text? You can also tell it to update the style from now on by checking this box. Now this is where you want to be very careful, because if you're working with styles and you're telling it, go ahead and update the style to reflect this, it's going to update that style. So anytime you apply it anywhere else, it's going to have these changes. If it's something you want, the best thing for you to do would be to create a new style with these changes in it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tell it to reapply the formatting of the style to the selection and say OK, and put it back the way it was. Okay. If I come back in here and turn that off, now if I change this, it just automatically does it. So now if I come down here and change this to heading 1, it doesn't make a change to it. Turning it on has its advantages when you're working in a document that you didn't create and you don't realize that there are styles within it. So when you come in and make changes within there, you can see by having it prompt you that, oh wait, there's a style applied here. The next option is keep track of formatting with the sub option of mark formatting inconsistencies. These options become helpful when you're working in a document that has a mix of styles with direct formatting within the styles. So let's go ahead and turn it on and I'll show you what that means. So go to File, Options, Advanced, keep track of formatting and mark formatting inconsistencies. Now the mark formatting inconsistencies, what that does is it puts a blue little wavy line under inconsistent formatting, just so you can see when you're going through the document where there could be some issues. So we're going to go ahead and say OK. So if we come back and look at the styles within the document, you can see I've got the blue wavy lines, meaning I've got some inconsistencies going on. I've added some different formatting to some of my styles and so forth. Now, in order to see where the inconsistencies are, I can do a couple different things. The first option I'm going to do is come up to my Home tab, click on the Styles dialog box. Once I click on it, it's going to open up my styles. I'm going to come down to the bottom and click on Options. From here, it's going to open up the Style pane options. First thing I'm going to do is tell it to select styles to show and only show those in use within this document. So take out the clutter, so I'm only going to see styles I've used. Then I'm going to tell it select formatting to show as styles. Paragraph level, font level, bullet, and numbering. And say OK. Once I do that, I've got my styles listed, but then I've also got the plus after it. That means I've done a style and then I've added onto that style. So now I can see what I've done to some of the styles out there. So for instance, my book title, I also did the book title and added red to it. Now when I hover over these, I get a drop down on the side. If I click on the drop down, it can tell me to update the book title to match the selection. I can select all 4 instances, so anywhere I've got book title, I'm going to highlight them. Another way to see this information as well is come down to the bottom. We're going to open up our Style Inspector. So now when I'm scrolling through, I can see the formatting that I've got selected. So for instance, if I come up here, I've got a paragraph listing, and I can see what I've done with it. I've got a heading 3 style on this paragraph, plus nothing else. Then if I come down and I look at the text formatting, I added all caps to it, which I can see over here that I did it as well. Our next option is updating style selection. We have various options with this. File, Options, Advanced. We can either keep previous numbering and bullet pattern or add numbering or bullets to all paragraphs with this style. Below that, enable click and type. What this means is if you select this option to insert text, graphics, tables, or other items in a blank area of a document by double-clicking in the blank area. The click and type feature automatically inserts paragraphs and applies the alignment necessary to position the item where you double-click. Now, a note on this feature is only available in the print layout view and the web layout view. Default paragraph style. Click on that. We can choose which one we want to make as our default style. I'm going to stay with my normal. Show autocomplete suggestions. Checking this box will give you the option to see auto text entries when you start typing the first characters of the entry. When you type those characters, the tooltip is displayed and you can press enter to add the full auto text entry. I always check this box because I don't want it to automatically insert an autocomplete entry based upon the characters I'm typing. I want to control when it uses those. And our last option is whether or not you want it to automatically hyperlink screenshots. Once you've made your changes, go ahead and click OK. And it takes you back to your document. So there's a lot of options that are available within editing of your document. Now let's go ahead and move on to our second category, which is our cut, copy, and paste. Again, File, Options, Advanced. And if we scroll down a little bit, we'll come to our cut, copy, and paste. This is where you can control how Word applies formatting and styles to information that you're copying, cutting, and pasting within documents. This is where you want to really pay a lot of attention, because this is where, if you don't have this set right and you're going in and pasting information into your document from other documents, this is where Word starts to make your text and your documents look a little strange, okay? So our first option is pasting within the same document. This option displays the default behavior for when you paste content within the same document that you're copying the content. Our options are keep source formatting, or merge in the formatting, or keep only the text. So depending on where you're pulling it from within the document, do you want to only put the text within there? Do you want to keep the source formatting, or do you want to merge the formatting? So that's where you choose that. Our next option is pasting between documents. This option displays the default behavior when you paste content that was copied from another document in Word. If we click down, we've got our options again of keeping the source formatting. The source is where it came from. Merge the formatting, or keep text only. Now, a lot of times when I'm taking information from one document and putting it into another document, I will only take the text, because then I can apply the formatting or the styles that are within the document I'm actually working on. And I'm not taking anything strange from that source document. Next, we have pasting between documents when style definitions conflict. And that means both of your documents have, for instance, a heading 1 style, but one of your documents may have bold and underlining in heading 1, and the other document may have italic as in heading 1. So which one do you want to use? Use the destination style because that's the document you're putting it into. Do you want to keep the source formatting, merge it, or only take the text? So again, set this up. This is what you want to use as the default in Word when you're going through your documents. Below that is pasting from other programs. Again, keep source formatting, merge formatting, keep text only. And then we've got our insert or paste pictures as. In line with text, this option inserts the graphic in a paragraph as if it were text. And also, as you're adding or moving text within the paragraph, the graphic will move. You can also drag the graphic to reposition it the same way you do with text. So here are your options: square, tight, behind, in front of, through, and top to bottom. Keep bullets and numbers with pasting text with keep text only option. So for instance, up here, if we had told it to only keep the text, if there's bullets and numbering within there, what it's going to do is it's going to convert the numbering and bullets into a text symbol. Use the insert key for paste. Checking this box will allow you to use the insert key to insert contents of the Office clipboard into your document. Next option, if you check it, show paste options button when content is pasted. Check this and you can see the options that are available when you're pasting within your document. The final one, use smart cuts and paste. We've got our setting option. You select this option to automatically adjust the formatting of content that is pasted in to match that of the destination document. Once you click on it, you can click on the settings to open up and see what you've got available to you. Okay, use default options 4, make it custom, and then you can set your individual options. So you can get very specific in using your smart custom paste options. Once you've made your settings, click OK, and it takes you back. Go ahead and click OK. For instance, if I copy, I use my right click to copy and paste. I'm going to copy this. Right click, I've got my paste options. And when I'm hovering over it, you can see my option where what I'm pasting is going to show me what it's going to look like. So I can determine how I want it to look. So I'm going to keep only the text. So those are the cut, copy, and paste options. Going in and setting up the defaults, the way you work, will help you become consistent as you're working on documents. Next option, show document content. So remember, File, Options, Advanced. Scroll down, Show Document Content. And it does just what it says. So we're going to start at the top here. Show background colors and images in print layout view. Does just that. If you check this box, it's going to display any background colors and images while in print layout view. Next option, show text wrapped within the document window. Check this option to wrap text to the documents for ease of reading on the screen. Show picture placeholders. What this option does is it puts a placeholder where the picture is. So it's an empty box where the graphic should be. And this, especially if you've got a document with lots of pictures or graphics in it, it makes it much quicker when you're scrolling through the document to work on the text. Show drawings and text boxes on the screen. Check this option to show the drawings and text boxes. Depending on how many drawings or text boxes you've got within your document, this could slow down the scrolling process. So if it becomes really slow as you're scrolling through your document, just come in and uncheck this box. Show bookmarks. Check this option if you want to see the bookmarks within the document. Show text boundaries. Check this option to display dotted lines around your text margins, columns, and paragraphs. This comes in really handy when you're working with the document layout, how you want it to look on the screen. Show crop marks. Check this option to show the corners of the margins. Show field codes instead of their values. Check this option to display the field codes instead of the field results. This comes in very handy when you're going through it and editing your document. And also with that, you've got your field shading when selected, never, and always. Again, it's your preference. If I'm doing some troubleshooting, I've got some problems within my document, I'll sometimes turn this on to always, just so that I can see where they are within the document. And then you can check a box to use the draft font in draft and outline views, and you can set what it is. And this will also help with the speed of the display screen of your documents. Font substitution. When you click on it, it'll tell you if there's any substitution that's necessary within the document. And what that means is if there's a document that you receive that uses specific fonts that you don't have available within your Word, it will give you the option to substitute a font for that. And our final option, expand all headings when opening a current document. You can check this box and so it'll expand everything out when you're opening up the document. Final category we're going to go over is display. Now again, Word Options Advanced Display is different than Word Options Display. When you click on Word Options Display, this is where you go in to change how the document content is displayed on the screen and when printing. When we come down to the advanced options and we go to display, this is how Word options are displayed. For instance, this is where we would come to tell it the number of recent documents we want to show when we go to File, Open. We can add quick access documents. How many documents do we want to show in the quick access area? Show this number of unpinned recent folders. So if we go through a lot of folders, we can tell it how many folders do we want to see. Now keep in mind, when you are making changes to these options, the larger the numbers, the longer it's going to take Word to open up, because it's got to pull all that information up to show you when you go into File, Open. Show measurement in units of. Do you want to do inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, pica? So depending on what you're doing, you may want to change that. Style area pane in draft and outline views. When you're in the draft or outline view, how big do you want your style area to be? Because remember, it's taking up real estate, so you can come in and change it here, or you can stretch or shrink it when you're in the draft or outline view. Show pixels for HTML features. When you check this option, it's going to set pixel as the default measurement for web documents. Show shortcut keys in screen tips. That one's a hard one for me to say. When you turn this one on, what it's going to do is it's going to include any shortcut key options in screen tips. And I'll go over that when we go into them. I just want to go through what they are first, and then we'll go and play around with it a little bit. Show horizontal scroll bar. Select this option and it'll put the horizontal scroll bar at the bottom of your window. If you select vertical scroll bar, it'll put one at the side of your window. That gives you the options to be able to scroll using the scroll bars. Show vertical ruler in print layout view. This gives you the option to display the vertical ruler at the side of your document in the window. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you select this, you must also have the ruler checkbox in the Show Hide group on the View tab selected. And I'll show you that as well when we go in. Optimize character positioning for layout rather than readability. If you select this option, what it's going to do is it's going to display character positioning accurately as it will appear in the printed document with respect to the blocks of text. Spacing between characters will be distorted when this option is turned on. So for best readability, it's best to uncheck that box. Disable hardware graphics acceleration. Go ahead and check this if you're having problems with your display. Sometimes it will help. Update document content while dragging. If you check this, it's going to show you how the content will look as objects are moved, resized, and rotated within your document. Use subpixel positioning to smooth fonts on screen. Check this option to use subpixel rendering. However, if your text starts to appear blurry, go ahead and uncheck this box. Show pop-up buttons for adding rows and columns and tables. If you have this checked when you're working within tables, you're going to get a plus sign so that you can add rows and columns, and I'll show you how that looks as well. So I'm going to go ahead and leave my options selected this way, and I'm going to show you what it looks like, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, we're back to our document. So File, you can see my recent documents. When I do Open, it'll take me in so I can see my documents, pick my folders, pin documents, and so forth. And this is where the numbers come in. I've got it set up so that I can see 20 documents. I've got it set up so I can see 50 of my recent folders. And again, depending on how big your numbers are, opening Word or going to the screen could take it a little bit longer. I'm going to switch my view to draft. And when we had gone in, you had seen what I had set my style area pane within draft and outline view. This is what it's talking about. I can come back out here to File, Options, Advanced, come all the way down to Display and change this. Okay, and you can see it shrinks it up. I can also just come over here and put my cursor on the line so I get the double arrow. And holding down the left button on my mouse, I can drag it out as well. So now if I come into File, Options, Advanced, Display, it changed the number. I'm going to go back to my print layout view. Okay, the option that we had to show the vertical ruler in print layout view, this is the vertical ruler. And when I was talking about you had to make sure the ruler was turned on, that is under our View tab, Ruler. If I uncheck this, my ruler, my vertical ruler goes away, as well as my top ruler. Turn it back on, and I get them both back. If I don't want my vertical ruler on, File, Options, Advanced, scroll down to Display, uncheck Show Vertical Ruler, and it goes away. The Show Pop-Up buttons for adding rows and columns in a table. If I come up here to my table and I go to my rows, you can see I get a plus sign. If I click on the plus sign, it inserts. So it makes it a little bit easier to insert within the table. Now we were looking at our display options. I also had the Show Horizontal Scroll Bar and the Show Vertical Scroll Bar checked. Now you see the one scroll bar on the side here, so I can scroll up and down, but you don't see the horizontal one. And that's because I can see all the information on the page. If I expanded it out, where I'd have to scroll left and right to see information, then the other scroll bar comes up. Okay? So even though you have items checked, they're not always going to appear. Depends how you're working within your documents. Okay, remember some options are available within the print layout, some are available within draft or outline. So to get to our advanced options, again, remember it's File, Options, Advanced. And in this video, we went over the editing options, cut, copy, and paste, show document content, and our display options. Any changes you make here, and when you click OK, it's going to affect your documents. Say OK, and the options are selected. At the end of the video here, I'm going to put the definitions for all the options that we went over, so you can get some screen grabs of those if you like. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm also going to include a link to the display settings if you'd like to take a look at that one as well. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please go ahead and add a comment below. Again, thank you for watching my video, and go ahead and take those screen grabs.